Secondary effect of silicone oil: transparent and normal thickness cornea without endothelium. There is a commonly assumed concept that silicone oil means corneal toxicity, but there are some cases that break the rules. We present an 81-year-old male, which refers penetrating keratoplasty and phaco of both eyes 10 years ago. He suffered an eye blast in his left eye, and he had a penetrating keratoplasty, pars plana vitrectomy, and silicone oil injection in 2011, and then missing for 2 years. When he came back to our office, he presented an extremely thin cornea with a very thick epithelium, sambulle, and a very, very thin stroma. We then decided to perform a lamellar keratoplasty. You see, the epithelium was auto-dissected by silicone oil, but we did not observe any apparent leakage of the silicone oil. We decided to use a graft as larger as possible, peeling off that necrotic stroma. It was an 8.5 graft, and during the dissecting maneuvers, we had a perforation. Anyway, we continued with our lamellar keratoplasty as it was first planned, assuming the risk of having silicone oil in a double anterior chamber. We took off the endothelium of the graft, and then suture it to the recipient. "24 hours later, the graft was with edema, and we had some silicone oil bubbles in a double anterior chamber. We then decided to evacuate that silicone oil and refill the eye through the posterior chamber, behind the endothelium of the recipient. One week later, we had a surprise. The cornea had no edema. An examination revealed a double anterior chamber with a posterior stromal membrane contracted and brilliant. One month later, the situation is the same. We have a double anterior chamber with a posterior stroma and endothelium, and a clear graft with a normal thickness. So we ask ourselves two questions. Did we take off the endothelium? What is filling the anterior chamber? It looks like there's no endothelium, and checking the video, we see we did it. Then, what is filling the anterior chamber? It must be something that keeps the graft clear and the thickness of the cornea normal. After 1 year, the cornea is still clear. The stromal membrane is more contracted, and we have no information about the recipient's endothelium. So there must be something that is isolating and waterproofing the anterior chamber. What is it? Obviously, it's silicone oil, but we cannot find in the literature anything about a clear cornea with silicone oil or a toxicity for the stroma. All we can find is referred to corneas with endothelium. So should we act? Is there any potential visual acuity? We think this is an uncommon situation, but we must not touch this eye. The patient has no edema, no pain, no potential visual acuity. Our recommendation in these atypical cases is to customize any surgical decision, wait, think, ask colleagues, analyze physiopathology, and think about a conservative attitude as a therapeutic plan.